and increased aid is seemingly flowing into Gaza as Israel apparently has got the message. However, the UN's aid chief is warning the amount of aid being allowed in is nowhere near enough, and that in the coming days will be make or break if they are to rescue people from starvation. I should say rescue more people from starvation. President Trump in Scotland has told reporters that the US will set up food centres in the Strip. He's also refuting the Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's statement that there is, in Netanyahu's words, no starvation in Gaza. Mr. Trump says widespread hunger was motivating the US to become even more involved, in his words. So today, Israel let in only 100 truckloads of aid on Sunday and allowed more airdrops from Jordan and from the Emirates. The airdrops, now, they are expensive and they are inefficient, as well as being, as we know from the past, extremely dangerous for the desperate people below who suddenly not only can be hit and killed by the falling food, but then the riot, as you can see, as they look at this. Just look at it. The children. Jeremy Diamond joins me now from Jerusalem. How did Benjamin Netanyahu justify no starvation in Gaza?
Well, the Israeli prime minister is simply denying reality when he says things like that. And President Trump was just the latest person to contradict him based off of the imagery in Gaza. It is impossible to draw any other conclusion beyond the fact that there is rampant starvation right now gripping Gaza, with 14 people dying of starvation in just the last 24 hours. But even as the Israeli prime minister denies the existence of starvation, he has directed his government to take steps to stem it. The steps that we have seen the Israeli government take in the last 24 hours, their real impact will have to be judged based off of how long those steps are actually in place. But what we've seen so far from the Israeli military are these 10-hour-a-day tactical pauses, effectively ceasing fire in certain parts of the Gaza Strip and allowing for safe corridors for these aid trucks to be able to not only get into Gaza, but then be able to distribute the aid throughout the Gaza Strip. And Richard, these steps are really the latest evidence of the Israeli restrictions that existed in Gaza for months now, because by taking these steps and reversing those restrictions, the Israeli government has shown that all along it could have done much more. Many of these steps were steps that the UN and other humanitarian organizations have called for months now. So,
to your best understanding, does Israel continue with this increased level of aid, or is there the possibility that it gets cut off?
Well, for the time being, at least, it certainly seems like the intention is to put these tactical pauses into effect, for that to happen for some, unclear duration of time. But clearly, Israel is taking these actions because of the global outcry that we have seen over the course of the last week, as the images of starving children in Gaza have become an undeniable and rude awakening. And therefore, Israel is, it seems, trying to facilitate the flow of aid. But again, the proof will be in how long that stays in place and in how many more hundreds of aid trucks can get in each day.
Jeremy in Jerusalem, grateful, thank you. 147 people have starved to death since the war began, says Gaza's health ministry, and most of them have been children. It's very tempting to feel and to believe you've heard it all before. It's very easy to simply say, oh, more stories. Well, this is the same as we told you last night. And really, well, what else is he going to tell us now? I urge you not to. Tonight, Nick Robertson with this report from Jerusalem. And some of the things that you're about to see, yes, you may well have seen before, and it's equally disturbing tonight.
Baby Zainab, cradled in her father's loving arms, fought for life as long as she could. Her tiny, emaciated body, a now silent witness to Gaza's new horror, malnutrition. Once a happy, healthy baby, dead. She passed away as her mother carried her to the hospital for a checkup. This is her photo before she got sick, she says, and this is the medical referral. My daughter suffered greatly from her illness, malnutrition and a lack of milk due to the closure of the crossings. A little over a week ago, CNN saw Zainab in hospital, alive.
How old is she?
She's 5 months. How much you hold? 5 months old.
And what is her weight?
The dish was in her.
British doctor Nick Maynard was helping treat Zainab. He was on one of his many life-saving missions to Gaza and was recording a video diary for CNN.
There have been 4 newborn babies in the last couple of weeks who've died as a direct result of malnutrition. Their mothers were too malnourished to produce milk. There are inadequate amounts of formula feed.
Zainab's wizened skin and bone body was clinging to life, and there was. After CNN's report, Zainab was offered a medical evacuation abroad. Her father, clutching her dead body, tells us her referral was ready and we were waiting for the crossing to open. But she found peace and rose to the heavens. We did everything we could. According to her doctors, she had no underlying medical conditions. Cases like hers increasingly common, he says.
I came to the hospital as a body because of severe starvation and unavailability of the special formula for milk that it is suitable for her. This is one of the examples for not allowing and for closing borders against milk and against special formula of milk for children.
More than 120 dead in Gaza from malnutrition, he says. 2/3 of them are children because they're more vulnerable. Israeli officials say they abide by international law, allow aid into Gaza and blame Hamas for the shortages. Baby Zainab never knew any of that, or about a ceasefire or negotiations over meters of land, or numbers of hostages and prisoners to be exchanged. She came into the world innocent and left it the same way. Her parents' lives heavier, carrying the loss and what might have been. Nick Robertson, CNN, Jerusalem.
As I say, we can feel we've seen the stories and heard it before, but when you hear it again, you realise why we need to see it again. This is CNN.